What's going on, guys? R3VKY, Ricky, back at it with episode 3 of the StyleCast. And we're here with Taylor, or Not Your GC, and his beautiful Subaru. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Long time in the making.
It's been an eventful day, that's for sure.
But we're here, we're doing it, and yeah, you guys are gonna learn about this fucking sick-ass Subaru. Alright, so I unfortunately have the camera on manual focus, not continuous focus. That's why the whole sitting part of the video is gonna be a little bit blurry. So I apologize for that, but stay tuned until the end, because Taylor does give me a ride-along and drop some knowledge about his car that you're not going to want to miss. So once again, Taylor, thank you so much for coming on and doing this episode. Regardless, it's going to be a long but worthwhile watch, and let's get back into it. Totally not coincidence that we did 2 white Subarus back to back, but this one's a little bit better. I'm sorry, Christian.
I'm Taylor, also known as Not Your GC. This is my 1996 Subaru Impreza WRX. It is what it is. I don't know where to go from that.
He's a little shy. He's never been on camera.
Yeah, I'm
it's
a
fine.
little camera shy.
We're all shy. You just got this car, right?
Recently-ish. I got it in July of last year, so 2024.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. Wait, real quick. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, it's at, or go ahead, plug yourself.
Yeah, it's at Not Your GC, NOTURGC.
Probably one of the craziest stance Subarus, honestly, in Southern California, because that's where we are. But yeah, so you just recently got this, but you had another Subaru that was very similar before this, right?
Yes. Yes, this would be the 3rd Subaru of the bunch. I mean, a lot has changed. Obviously, this one is right-hand drive. The other one, I did a lot of learning on, so it wasn't perfect by any means. There's a lot of
this
trial
car
and error.
is originally from Japan. There is a truck backing up, about to hit the camera. Anyways, so this is imported from Japan, but you didn't import it, did you?
Correct. That would be the correct. And everyone asked me, did you import it? And I say, no, I actually did it. And then they get very disappointed. And I don't get what the whole gist is on that. Like, why is it so much more special that I imported it myself, or I bought it from someone who had it imported?
I think it's like it's like a basic, not basic, it's just like a flex. I mean,
I guess it is a flex, but I feel like it's even more of a flex that either someone else took the hit and took all the fees and did all the processing, and you got the end product, or
that's true.
My case is I got it from a Marine. So he bought the car in Japan, was overseas, and served a year overseas with the car, and then luckily was able to bring it back over to the States and did all the import paperwork, and the military does it all for you, I guess. And
so he did all the heavy lifting for you.
Exactly. And he even had it registered. So it was California, not California actually, it was Nevada plated. So it at least had a U.S. title. So I didn't have to go through all the shenanigans of trying to get the U.S. title. I know it's not that hard. It's very easy to do nowadays, but I was up for it. I was definitely up for the task, but I got lucky and blessed with a find.
You got the easy way out.
I guess you could say. With a little bit of money. But.
Pretty cool. I mean, I've never imported cars. I don't know, but I'm assuming it was.
Yeah, I was in communications with a few importers back and forth, and everything costs money. You find one car, it looks pleasing from a few feet away in their auction pictures that they have, and then you pay the $50 or whatever. If you have a cool importer, that will get you a more detailed inspection, and things don't get prettier as they get closer. So,
but like, I guess before buying the car, you were able to like check the car out and stuff.
Yeah, that was the cool thing, is I was able to go in person. I mean, I had to drive an hour and a half or so to Camp Pendleton and get on base, and I got a ticket and all this stuff, but it was
but it wasn't like flying to Japan.
Exactly. And it wasn't just taking the gamble of knowing if I was going to get a vehicle that was cut in half or not.
That's true. Yeah, I'm very curious how that like works though. I mean, obviously like you have people check it out for you and stuff, but so you have the car, it's yours.
Yes.
Let's talk about wheels first, because like as you can see, it's probably one of the coolest things on the car. Wheels and suspension. So give us a brief overview of what you've done as far as wheels and suspension.
As far as wheels and suspension, I guess we can start at suspension because it's a little more boring part. Silver coilovers. I ran them on my other sedan that I had that we briefly spoke about. Basically just took them, ripped them straight off, put them on this car. Rear arms, I have SPC adjustable camber and tow arms. That's it. The rear has top plates or top hats, camber adjustment plates, and the front has extended front lower control arms, but nothing adjustable, nothing tube welded, nothing crazy, just your stock factory lower control arm, cut in half, extended. Mine are 3/4 of an inch. I've heard of more, I've heard of less. I thought it was a safe route to go 3/4 of an inch, nothing too crazy, nothing too much, but I was having axle binding issues due to that it is a Subaru and it is all-wheel drive. The axles, when you shove them into the transmission, when you camber them crazy, they like to bind up. So the solution to that is to pull them back out. So you extend the lower control arm, pulling the axle back out, giving you the correct geometry for the axle to operate as intended. Again, it's still not ideal due to the fact that it has negative 17 degrees of camber, and it's probably not the most happy camber, but it's no longer binding. So that's what I have, and on top of that, I also have the air cups. My kit specifically is the stance parts air cups. I have them front and rear with a standalone compressor and tank, 4-gallon tank. Had them for about 2 months now, I guess you could say. I'm not too sure. I haven't put too many miles on them. I did drive this last night all the way down to San Diego, which was about downtown San Diego from.
But we're in Newport Beach.
Yeah,
roughly.
we're in Newport Beach, basically.
So he did mob this thing last night, which was
quite the mob.
How much camber do you have?
Negative 17 in the front and negative 14 in the rear.
And like pretty much all your arms are like custom, right? They're not like, because like on my Miata, like all my arms are like, I guess, adjustable, but they're like from the company.
Yeah, so someone produces that. To answer that, someone does make arms. I just didn't want to ball out and spend all the money.
It's expensive as fuck.
Fab makes adjustable lower control arms for this car, fully adjustable, and then they also make like a tubular preset extended width. Pretty baller, but I didn't want to spend $1,000 on arms, so I did the cheap route and I just slotted my.
Still expensive, but it's not like stupid expensive.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not like you're paying someone to manufacture this crazy part that's never been made. So it's still produced, but one day at one point in time, if I stick with this chassis forever, I'll upgrade and do something a lot nicer. But I wanted to stick with a lot of those arms. You end up having to go like uniballs or Heim joints. And I didn't want the maintenance or the noise, or I know they're a bit stronger in like actual motorsport applications, but this thing drives in a straight line, so I wanted ball joints.
The thing drives insane. You guys will see later in the video, like we drove around, thing literally drives like a normal car. Like it's pretty crazy for how it is. So the wheels.
Oh yeah, wheels. They
Big
are
baller wheels.
GMR. No, I'm just kidding. They're Blitz 03s. The hype boy wheel, I guess you can call them.
He's a big baller. He spent $10,000 on them.
Something like that. Just kidding. I got them at a good deal. That was the only way I justified buying them, was at a good cost, and then I was unhappy with the way they looked, so I had them refinished. Yeah, one thing after another.
So the faces and the barrels are different color?
Yes. Well, the faces they're not like the OEM or like the original silver that comes on the 03s. I've just always really enjoyed the Blitz 03s in a silver face design. I should have gone triple chrome, I really think, but I also still really do like the silver, and it was cheaper at the time to go the silver route. So it's not like a high gloss or anything. It's like more of a satin kind of just silver basic powder coat. Basically exactly how the 03s come from factory. It's not anything crazy and stand.
How do they come from factory? Because I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I think there's a few different options. I think there's a dark face, and then you have this like very light silver face, kind of like what I have here. But I've always liked it, and I always thought it was a very clean looking wheel, and it was a little bit softer on the wallet, so I went that route. But I don't know. I go back and forth. I really do wish I chromed them, just because I was already in there, you know, stripping them apart, doing everything, spending the money. It was only a little bit more, but I think the longevity, I don't know. It's hard because I feel like the resale is a lot better with chrome, just because it's hot right now. But who knows, in a few years, chrome might die off and maybe no one wants chrome anymore.
But I don't know if you guys can see on camera, but the faces are almost, these are not that similar, but from afar, they look similar to like the two-tone color, so it kind of looks cool because the barrels are polished and the faces are powder coated, right?
Correct. Yeah, the outer lips would be fully polished. The inner barrels are actually brushed, so they're kind of like that line, like brushed effect, and then the faces are powder coated.
And the center caps are custom.
Center caps are custom from Get Japan. He gives you a few options, a few different colors you can set up, and the pink just matched the other aesthetics of the pink that I have going on, kind of to match the STI cherry blossom pink that I have on the badge, and I have the pink license plate and the horn button and the whole 9 yards. So kind of just fits the whole little look. I had the silver 08, like original center caps that came with the wheels, and they were in decent shape, and I was going to run them. I did run them for a few days, but these were available, and I'm a little bit impulsive, and I think it's a good purchase.
I think it looks
like
great.
$120. It's not anything crazy.
So his center caps are pink, his license plate's pink, and his steering wheel horn button are pink. So it's cool. Like
Shift knob, little patterns pink as well.
pink.
There's like a few little
Very
pink
tastefully
things.
done.
Nothing too overwhelming, and if you do notice in person, it'll probably bug you, but all the pinks are different. None of them match. They're all different shades. It is what it is, You can't match everything.
Okay, so then suspension, we've talked about that. Wheels, let's talk about kit and styling, I guess. So like side mirrors, I see you got some Ganadors, you got some two-tone side skirts and bumpers and things. So
There's a lot going on. I guess we can quickly circle back. I didn't go over my specs on the wheels, which I will.
Oh yes.
I'm not a big spec hider.
we're
I don't-
gatekeepers
I don't-
here.
I don't,
We
I don't
gatekeep
really care.
everything.
They're 17.9. They're squared, but they're like a staggered offset. So with the Subaru world, you like to keep it square just so you're not messing up your gear ratios and your whatever, A lot of people do it, and I don't know if they run into issues. I follow the herd, so I just kept it squared, And I ended up getting kind of lucky, kind of not lucky with a staggered set, which is kind of weird. So it's a 4.5-inch lip in the rear and a 4-inch lip in the front. And it's 17/9. The fronts are a plus 38 and the rears are a plus 19. So they're both low discs. I don't really plan to run big Brembos, but to addition to that, I also run a 43 mil spacer in the front, or it's like a 41 or something like that, and a 20 mil spacer in the rear. But it's also an adapter, 5-on-100 vehicle with 5-on-114 wheels. So I kind of have to run them no matter what, and to also run the stance that I want to run. You're always battling, at least in this chassis, you're always battling, trying to get the wheel to fit inside the fenders, but it also not rub on side the coilover, because there's not a lot of room in there. And unless you're going wide body, you kind of are always playing this battle.
How much room do you have between your wheel and your do you know?
The rear is maybe a millimeter or two. It has rubbed a groove into the coilover collar, which it is what it is. Not a big deal to me. But the front, I have a little bit more space. I kind of wish that they were just both of the rears. Like I had the both 17/9 plus 19 front and rear. Then I would have bigger lips. But this one works. I had to space it out kind of crazy. Every car is different.
Phenomenal.
These specs on a different car could work. They couldn't work. I mean, every car is different,
And how much work did you put in, I guess, to figure out what wheel or?
I kind of just guessed. I was drunk one night at my buddy's house, and I saw some Blitzo 3s pop up on Marketplace for a good price, and I just bought them.
Oh, yeah,
I paid
good,
goods and services, so I knew I was going to get my money back, even if they were a scam. So I wasn't tripping, and I had the cash available.
Always do that. Don't send
friends and family, unless
Gone
you
scammed too many
you
times.
actually know them and you have history with them and you know you're going to get your stuff, then you save the 3% or whatever it is for the service. But yeah, if someone's telling you to send it, friends and family, and you don't know them, they are definitely scamming you and you're not getting what you're paying for. So watch out for that. But as far as the wheels, I mean, I wasn't searching for any particular spec, just because I know with the stance world, you have so much to play with. If the wheel is not fitting, I'll just add more camber. If it fits too well, I'll take a little out. There's so much leniency there, whereas a normal car, you're trying to get this perfect fitment with no camber and this, that, and the other. And with stance, you don't, unless you're really trying to go for a particular look with a certain number and you're trying to get the perfect fitment, I just really try to make it work. Whatever I'm throwing at.
Stance is about winging it. I mean,
it's literally just winging it. I knew I wanted something by 9, and I had 18s before.
You knew what you wanted.
Exactly. I knew what the width I wanted. I knew somewhat of a ballpark offset.
Did you want Blitzo 3s? Or
it was just always a dream wheel that I had liked, but they were obviously just getting really expensive for not any reason. I mean, they're cool wheels. I'll always say that, and I always love them, but I don't think there's any reason that this wheel should be any more than some work wheel. They're the same construction, they're the same material. It's just the supply and demand, I guess. Obviously, these aren't made, so the demand there is a little bit higher for something that has no supply. So price is going to go up a little bit, at least with a lot of work wheels and other brands. They're still produced today, so they're a little less desirable, and prices are a little bit lower.
Exactly. Have you seen another, like, the same gen, like, stance like this?
Yeah, a lot. I
really?
definitely have, and I've taken some inspiration here and there, but as far as, I don't know,
do you have
it's
any
hard.
guys that, like, you can shout out or like, that
I mean, Christian's definitely one of them that I always kind of like looked up to, and
got Drive Roach from last episode.
Yeah, I always kind of like asked him for advice, and he was always very nice to give me tips here and there, and just because I was foreign to the automotive world, and then I got into that, and then I just slowly and surely like started customizing and then getting into the stance stuff, and that's a whole different realm. It's completely different. There's so many rules and things that people know that isn't just common knowledge for anyone. You can't just like Google how to camber your car. It's like it's not there, so you have to ask the people who have done it, who have been through it, who have the techniques, and so it's just,
I feel like the whole stance world is like a gray area.
Yeah, it is.
Which is,
and every chassis is different. Like, I mean, if you have like a different suspension setup, you're going to be getting your camber. Your camber achievement is completely different than what I do to achieve mine.
Yeah, he takes his wheel off, and I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, there's like four things in there, and like everything's just cut. Whereas his car, he's got all these arms, and it's a lot more adjustment. Whereas I kind of just ballpark it. You cut here and you cut there, and you kind of shove it in there, and you pull it out there, and it just fits. Exactly. At one point in time.
So can you give us like a brief rundown of like how you got into stance, or like just kind of like where it all came from, I guess?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there was any particular like point in time that sticks to my memory, but I just had friends that were slowly kind of just dipping their toes in and getting a little bit more into it, and I would say not necessarily doing it the right way. I think everyone starts that route. They kind of just
were
do
they
it
in stance cars, or just
like trying to, obviously, like instead of buying coilovers with shortened springs and high spring rates and helper springs and air cups and like all these things to like do it properly and have your vehicle last and not buckle fenders and like all this, that, and the other, there's the opposite route of cutting springs, pulling your springs.
There is a right way to do this.
Running washers, running hockey pucks. Like there is, like it still does the same thing. The longevity, the ride quality, the damage on the vehicle, what you have to do to achieve it is just like night and day. So it's hard because I kind of saw my friends do the cheap route, and I'm like, why would you do that? Like, it's so stupid. Like, why would you want your car to look that way? Why would you want it to drive that way? You took all the functionality out of it. And then a few years went by, and I was just trying to, like, fit into the style, like lower the car a little bit. I got my first 3-piece wheels. They're super weak spec, 17x7 plus 47. Like, they fit good.
What was your first car? Was it the...
So my first like vehicle was my Tundra, my 2005 Tundra that I daily drive. But my first car, like that, it was a project car, was my 99 Impreza that has a 2002 WRX swap into it. So it's still the same chassis, and that's why I kind of, I don't know, I'm very comfortable in this chassis. It's very easy for me. I wouldn't ever say mastered it, but I've definitely understood it very well. And there's a lot of support, and I've met a lot of cool people and a lot of people that they just want to help. I mean, a lot of, like, I also had a 350Z at one point in time, and just the community difference is like night and day. Like, a lot of the Subaru guys get a lot of bad rap, and you get the jokes in here and there, but I just did not have the same quality of people. I hate to say that, but the help wasn't as there.
I think it's very interesting how like every car has its like own community, and like you said, like they're very different. Like,
and I guess it kind of just depends on who you are, and obviously other people are gonna fit into different communities a lot better, just because that's the nature of charisma. Yeah. I mean, it's just the way it is. But I just fit really well in this community. I've attached really well with the people in the community, and it was something that I was able to grasp onto and be knowledgeable in and help other people out. And people ask me all the time for all this advice, and I'm like, why are you coming to me? Like, I'm the one asking questions. Like, I don't know why you're asking me questions. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Right, though. Like, that's,
yeah, like,
that's
I
why
just
we're
work
sitting
here.
Like...
I just I put a bunch of bolts together, and I get a little cut here, a little cut there, and you know, I don't know. It works, I guess.
I feel like a big thing is like confidence too, in the sense of like just being confident like what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you just gotta like trust yourself and just do it right though. Like, that's why I asked about like this, because I feel like a lot of people don't understand the whole stance thing. And it's like, you can do it wrong and you can do it right. Like, this car drives like a normal car, but because he's done it right and he's done his research and he's, you know, put time into it and money, obviously.
Yeah, it definitely takes money. It's always going to take money. If you're going the cheap route, you're going to get the cheap experience every single time.
No matter what. The car rides like shit, and it's like, it's just like, this thing literally drives like a normal car.
Yeah.
Because you've put in the work. I mean,
a lot of people, like, they'll be like, yeah, I had a lower card once, and I'm like, okay, how'd you lower it? And they're like, took the stock springs out and we cut them. Okay, you had stock struts, you had stock springs that were cut, really weak spring rates, thing hopscotch down the freeway. Like, of course you don't desire to have a lower vehicle at any point. If you do it the right way, it still is bumpy, and you're still gambling with the car was never designed to be this way. And things can break, and I know I put on a lot of stress on the wheel bearings with big spacers and adapters and camber, and I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm putting the car through, but it's all just knowing and having, like you were saying, having confidence in your own work if you do it yourself, or having confidence in a shop or someone who's doing the work for you. And like I was saying, it was never designed to be this way. You can't put blame on any company because your car failed when it looks like that. Like, I'm not going to call Silver's because their coilover failed because I'm riding on 22K spring rates and 17 degrees of camber. That's my doing. Unless it was genuinely like a product failure where it was clear. Like, a lot of this stuff, a lot of people, they don't realize the risk that they're putting on their vehicle. That's where it's like, it's crazy when people take vehicles that are still under warranty.
Oh God!
I know it sounds like I'm talking a lot of shit, but
it's the point.
It's crazy, I mean, it's you really are doing a lot of undoable things. Which, I mean, this car can be raised 100%. Take all the camber out of it, put the stock arms. It doesn't ruin it for sure, but you're putting a lot more risk at it. Like, this thing driving down the freeway at 90 miles an hour has a lot more risk of breaking, failing than a stock version of this same vehicle at 90 miles an hour on the same freeway. So you are playing that risk factor, but there are right ways to do it, and you can play your precautions and bolt check every now and again and make sure everything's right. And
that's good. I'm sure a lot of Subaru guys will love to hear about it. That's awesome. But tell us about the two-tone, the kit you got going on, the side skirts, the bumper, all that.
So the body kit, or I guess you could say the rear bumper and the side skirts on this car are Airwalker. I picked them up in Vegas, very cheap. I've never seen the kit before.
Factory?
No, so it's just an aftermarket kit. Airwalker is still a company. They make a lot of Honda kits. They're based in Japan. But I had never seen this kit on a GC. That's what this chassis code is. 93-01 is classified as GC, hence the username, not your GC. I've never seen this kit. It was posted on like Facebook Marketplace in Vegas. I'm here in California, and I was going out to Utah for a trip, and I had messaged this guy and said, hey, if you hold it, I'll pick it up on my way. I'll send you a deposit. He had it posted for $375 for the front bumper, the two side skirts, the rear bumper, and a foreign front lip for the factory bumper. And I had no information on it, and you Google it, there's like 1 or 2 product images. So it was very like unknown. Didn't really know what I was getting, but he saved it for me. I picked it up, and it's been definitely a lot, like one of the favorite parts of the car, because I've seen after the fact, I've done a lot more research and spent a few more years in this community. There's bits and pieces here and there. I've seen some side skirts on a car. I've seen a rear bumper. I've seen one front bumper for sale, but I've never seen the full kit. And I don't have the full kit on currently. The front bumper, I did unfortunately cut up for a front mount intercooler, which is installed on my other car. This car is still currently the stock location top mount intercooler, and this is the stock front bumper with a US Racing front lip.
No, wait, actually, my lips U.S. racing too.
Yeah, this is a U.S. Racing front lip. Yep. And which isn't, you would think would be like a more common Japanese front lip,
It's not,
being
though.
that it's U.S. Racing, but
Yeah.
it's not common at all here in the States. So it was cool. It got imported with that front with that front lip, and it has the version 3 to 4 front bumper with the fog lights, and that's why I don't want to like cut everything up yet and put a front mount. I like the fog lights; they work. I got them working. It's little JDM things.
But
It's
do you
cool.
want to do like the full kit? Like you want to get the
I
bumper
do.
on?
That would be the full goal. Yeah, if I could find another front bumper and pay the fees to get it over here that isn't cut up and has like the front license plate mount still attached, I would love to do that and rock it this way.
But you have to import it.
But honestly, the fact is, the reality that's gonna happen is I'm gonna front mount this car and then I'll cut it up. I'll take the fog lights out and then I'll just run the front bumper on this car, and then it'll be a full kit. But
regardless, it looks
yeah, for now, it's just like I
wanted
wanted to change it up a little bit because I ran the full kit on the other car and it was just would have been a direct copy over. So at least changing the front bumper, running a front lip instead of a full bumper replacement is just a little bit different. I mean, just changing the style up a little bit.
And you've mentioned to me that you want to keep it two-tone.
I do, yes. I mean, I was back and forth on it. It's definitely going to be a bigger cost, and I guess to kind of break it down, the OEM original Outbacks came two-tone, but the two-tone is from the front bumper and up, so that middle body line and down actually is all the different color, and then this part is the other color. So, and that's what I really would like to do. It'd be a lot cheaper and a lot easier for the painter to be able to paint the front bumper one full solid color, side skirt one solid color, front lip one solid color, side skirts one solid color, rear bumper one solid color. You get the point. And eventually, obviously, the fenders would have to be two-toned, and then the doors would have to be two-toned, and then like a little bit of the quarter panel. But it's a lot less work than, say, for example, the 240 two-tone is more of a lower piece, so you have to kind of like cut the bumper into two, and it's a lot more paint work, and then you have a line that goes across it. So I'm very picky with certain things, and I think I would be a lot happier painting everything in bigger chunks in one color. We'll get to that day eventually. It's kind of a little further down the list. And to add, I did have my buddy kind of Photoshop up like a fully white car. Same car, obviously, just made the silver bumpers look white.
I'll try to throw up a clip or a photo so you guys can see what he's talking about.
Throw that up there, but it just wasn't tickling my pickle the way the two-tone does. I don't know.
The two-tone just goes hard. I mean,
it just does. I don't know. Like I look at it from the back, and
it just looks.
It's kind of like homage to my last car, because my last car was the silver color. It's called like Silverthorn or something like that, and it's just it has pearl in it, but it doesn't have like heavy flake or any chunks or anything. It's just a very subtle pearl, and it's a very light silver and almost kind of champagne in some certain lights. So it works really good with the base white, and I want to keep the top base white the way it is. Obviously refresh it and make everything nice and clean, and then keep the bottom that same silver as my other car to kind of tie the two together, and possibly throw around the idea of maybe adding a little bit more sparkle or some flake towards the bottom. But I definitely am solid on keeping the top a base white, just to keep the separation. I've seen some two-tone painted cars that are it's like too much pearl on top and too much on the bottom. It's just a little too much, you know. I'm trying to keep the car crazy looking with also keeping it clean.
So like minimal. Yeah,
exactly. Like you were asking earlier about some aftermarket lug nuts, which I'm all for. I've had multiple sets and I've definitely looked at it, but with the crazy pink center cap, and now we have these rotor covers, I just thought it would be tame to keep it simple and just some normal basic chrome lug nuts.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see, but he's just running like the stock.
They're just normal like
lug nuts with the
lug
one
nuts
key one,
with just like a normal key. So something simple, but
no, but like I like the way you explained it to me. Like his car's insane, but then you look at the lug nuts and they're just like normal. And like I don't know, it kind of bothered me. But then like after he explained it, I was like, oh, like it makes sense.
And it's like, and if you really think about it, that's something that someone would do as their first mod. Like they get a new car and they're like, okay, I'm just gonna put new lug nuts on it. And they got the crazy looking lug nuts with these like very basic bare bones car, which not to hate on anyone, that's very, very acceptable. But I just wanted to do it obviously a little different.
He's a hater.
The car is the way it is because it's different.
And then you got some Ganadors, I see.
Yes.
I'm big fan. I
wish they looked a little different. I don't know. I feel like because every Ganondorf has the same look, but they mold onto the vehicle very differently.
That's what I love that though. I love how they like just blend into the car.
Exactly.
I mean,
Mine, unfortunately, they kind of just stick onto the car. From our angle, you can see it kind of drips onto the trim on the window just slightly.
I mean, pretty much every car is like that, isn't it?
But
Roughly.
if you ever look at the FD Ganondors or the S14 Ganondors, they drip down onto the door.
Yeah.
Like it hangs down so much lower, it just makes the mirror look like it's like morphing into the door. It just looks a lot cooler, which from afar they look the exact same, but when you get close and you see the little bit minor details,
I feel like 99% of people like don't give a fuck. Or
yeah, exactly.
Don't care,
It's
but I'm like,
it's just something so stupid.
no, but I agree with you. Like it
just looks cool. It like
looks
drips
cool,
down.
yeah.
It's a little bit different.
It's like such a significant like JDM thing.
100%.
Like you either get it or you don't. I mean, it is what it is.
Exactly, and like there's actually a lot of this chassis has a lot of aftermarket and a lot of early 90s aero and late 90s aero, and they have a lot of mirror choices, but I always just resulted back to the Ganondors just because of the quality. Like they were early or later 90s JDM mirrors that were cheap, but they're aluminum bases.
And they're real.
Yeah, they're real. I mean, these ones are real, but I'm just talking about Ganondor in general, because like if you compare these to Bomex mirrors, I think the Bomex mirrors, like the Type 1 version, they kind of shoot out like a fan. They're sick, but on the inside, it's like a taped on little, it looks like a mirror from like your sister's little hairbrush. Like it looks so unfinished. You can see all the fiberglass inlay on the inside of the mirror, and it's just like a very bad looking driver experience. It looks very cool from the outside, but I've sat
like
in a car with them and it's just like, it looks cheap. It looks unfinished. Whereas the Ganondors, they're metal aluminum bases.
They're flow.
They're
like,
fiberglass, like actual mirrors. They fold if in case anyone walks by and hits the mirror. And they're also powered too. So like if I need to see my lip on the other side of the car, all I have to do is just go to the little mirror like OEM and
are they Subaru like
crank
OEM?
it down. No, so they're not OEM, but they have like OEM connectors and everything. So they're made for this chassis. And
but what brand or
they're Ganondor. Ganondor is the
the
brand.
brand? Oh, I
yeah,
didn't
so
even know that.
Ganondor
Oh,
is a
shit.
brand. So they have
Holy.
exhaust. My strut brace is Ganondor.
Oh fuck! I didn't know any.
Ganondor makes the mirrors. Yeah,
Okay.
it's I don't know how to really call it, but I guess they kind of their
Ganondor
brand
is the
consumed
brand.
that style. I guess you
yeah.
can say. I mean, they did almost. I guess I don't know if they trademarked it, but obviously there's a bunch of like rep Ganondors, but they
stupid
don't
as
look
fuck.
the exact same.
I didn't know
the
that.
only ones
I
that
thought
are
Ganondor was the mirror.
no, yeah, so like it's
shit.
actually the brand, and the one that looks the closest would be like the Aero 23 mirrors.
Okay.
Or the Kabuki ones. I think the Kabuki ones are the most closest. They have the aluminum bases with the fiberglass mirror.
Yeah, I think
it's all powered and everything, and it looks identical. They just basically copied the molds, but I guess it's a little subtle flex to have authentic old school ones.
$1,500 mirrors. Yeah, it's a flex.
Yeah, $1,300 wasn't. I mean, it was maybe a little bit changed there, but
I don't know. These cars are like fucking Legos. That's what I love about them. You can just slap shit on and like it works.
yeah,
or doesn't,
and I mean, this wasn't overnight. I mean, I bought my first one in 2021 in January, and it's just been a slow domino effect ever since then. And buying parts here and there, and then you learn about this part, and you learn about that part, and this part. This guy's selling this car, and he's selling this part cheap.
just
and
building whatever you think is cool.
it's just like, yeah, like you were saying, it's like a build your own Lego kit. You kind of just keep developing it as you go. Obviously, other people have different routes when they build cars. They kind of either build them and sell them off and start the next one. But I don't know. I don't have any desire to kind of get out of this chassis unless things change and the tide starts moving and I pick up a Skyline or something cooler. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I guess let's talk about your engine. Not crazy. It looks crazy, but give us a brief rundown about that.
It's just very shiny. I just like shiny stuff. I don't desire to have 500 horsepower to build. I also don't have the pockets. I'm sure if I had the pockets for it and I could afford it, I would do it for sure. It's just not that point in time. And I mean, it still makes probably around 270 to 280 wheel.
Enough to have fun.
A little sub 300, but it's just like nice. It's nothing crazy. It doesn't spin the wheels, even though the contact patch is only 1.5 to 2 inches. It's still reliably tame, but
We need to get a clip of like your contact patch.
Yeah, I think I have like
so
there's
funny.
like marks because
It's
I
so
park it
funny.
in the garage. There's some marks on the carpet where it's like it shows the imprint of the contact
It's
patch.
literally like less than half an inch.
You can see like my lines where I kind of pulled into the spot here, right in front of Ricky. Yeah, that's my
It's
contact
literally-
patch.
it's a bicycle
All these
tire.
little lines, those are just my contact patch.
I've never seen that. That's funny.
But slowly but surely, just I don't think it'll ever be done by any means. But like Ricky asked me earlier, am I satisfied with it? I would definitely say yes. For sure. As of now, obviously I would love to paint it. I have to pull the motor and do the head gasket because it's a Subaru and it's failing on me.
The interior is low key my favorite part.
Yeah, I mean,
This man has done great
everyone,
work.
Like,
Great
I
work.
know your big question is like, what's your favorite thing? I don't know. I don't mean to spoil your question, but like, what's your favorite component of your car? And I've been like sitting and like trying to rack my brain on what my favorite component is, and there's just so many. Like every corner you look at, I guess that was kind of my goal, was just to touch everything. Like everyone calls their car like built not bought, but I guess I can pretty much say like this is a built not bought car. Granted, it's not full wide body and a SEMA build by any means, but I feel like I've touched every corner.
And you've done it right. It's simple, it's elegant, and you've done it right. So like
Done it right for my pockets.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
that's what matters. I mean,
And that's
you don't
and
need a
I feel like
SEMA
that's
build,
the
like-
right way to do it. Obviously, if you don't have the means to do it, don't even try. And I hate to say that, but don't
Okay,
cut,
wait,
if you
don't- I
cut
mean,
all
you
these
can
corners,
try.
yeah, no, definitely like try, because you'll learn.
Yeah, but like don't I don't know, like if you're gonna do anything, just do it right, and even if it's the way, like because
I guess the way to say it is if there's the option to wait a little bit longer, to save up a little bit more, to
Like for
do
the
it the
seats
right
example.
way.
yeah, like for like he has shirt selected seats,
Yeah.
and these you order them, they take like a year.
And I got really lucky with these. It's kind of hard to use that
I'm
as
so
an
jealous.
example.
I'm
I
so
got them
jealous.
from some guy who ordered them who was way too big for the seats. He was just really tall, and they fit very tight, and they're kind of a shorter seat. So he just never fit in them, and I got them at a steal. I paid $1,200 for them, and they're $1,000 per seat, and then you're paying shipping and taxes on top. I don't know if there's taxes, but, you know, I got a good deal on it. But to preface your questions, like, yeah, do you pay $600 on some rep seats that possibly
Like
you get in
me.
an accident and the seat snaps in half and you broke your back because you are riding in rep seats, which
They're not,
Not
that bad.
to
Don't listen to them.
be on. Like, yeah, I know everyone's got them,
If
but
you're tracking your car, yes, by real seats. Otherwise,
yes, I mean but it's just like that's the thoughts that go through my head because I see all the pictures where either someone gets rear-ended or they crash their car and their steering wheel folds forward because it's not like an authentic steering wheel. And it's just like, I don't know. Especially
we've all
something
seen
you
that
put your
steering wheel.
hands on. It's like, I don't know. I would spend a little bit more for something that I'm touching, and it's the main contact of the
steering wheel
vehicle.
and seat, yeah.
I think a authentic, good steering wheel is a valid purchase. But to go what I was saying, obviously try. I'm not saying just quit. But if you have the option, I know last-minute things and finances are a touchy subject, but if you have a little bit of time to save up a little bit more to either get the better option or a little higher quality product or to do it the right way,
Correct.
it's always better because usually if you do it the cheap way or you do it the incorrect way, you're always going to circle back around and do it the right way. So
I've done that way too many times. Yeah.
everyone has, and it just takes a lot to, and I do it all the time still. I'll go and try to do the cheaper route to save a little bit of money because we're all that person. I mean, what are you doing if you're not trying to save money? You're just,
yeah,
are you
obviously.
some crazy millionaire?
Yeah.
But we're all trying to save a dime, so I'll go in 30 different sites to go save the best dollar, and it's like I wasted all this time. I can't buy all this time back that I just saved $5.
Yeah.
It's like it's at a certain point you got to just bite the bullet. Paying a little bit more usually does work out in the end.
Be patient. I think that's the biggest thing that
Yeah,
cars
just do
have
your
taught
research.
me.
Just be. I mean, there is the good time for impulse buys. This
Of
whole
course.
car was an
Yeah.
impulse buy. Didn't want to buy one at this point in time. A whole right-hand drive car.
My
but
car was the same. I
Yeah,
impulse bought
impulse,
it.
but-
And it was amazing, but
those aren't as often.
no,
Those
but in general,
Yeah.
because I'm a very impulse person, I'm sure you are similar.
big time.
Cars
I mean,
have taught me to just
I just
take
bought
your
these
time.
rotor covers for no apparent reason. I didn't need them, but homie was selling them, and I said, why not? You know.
Hey, style
Impulse
points.
buy.
Style points. So your interior, real quick, just do rundowns. You have shirt selecting seats. Your steering wheel is it's a fucking chrome Nardi, insane.
Shirts tucked in, version 1 seats with the carbon Kevlar
Okay,
back.
my bad. All right.
You know, you got to get all the details. They're blue. They got the little side pockets and the little pillows that everyone wants.
It's just cool, man.
I got the GD or like your 04 to 07 STI rear seats that are just
let me
thrown in
flex
there
on you guys
because
now. Just
I don't care to bolt them in.
Subaru guys, just take notes. Just
And
pull out your notepad and
then
just,
we have some like special edition. They weren't even like a special edition. It was just like an option, but they're like Recaro confetti-esque type of pattern floor mats. Floor mats are like the same kind of coloration as
cool.
my door cards, which are also, they did make them. Subaru did produce them, the Colin McRae edition vehicle or car. But they're like super rare, hard to get a hold of. Even if you find the door cards or the interior that came along with that car, they're always in the worst condition and for the most amount of money. So I was able to source the material for the door cards and just do it myself. Found some matching floor mats, kind of slapped the whole car together. Like he was saying, I got the Nardi Deep Corn 350 mil. I wish it was chrome, but it's actually polished. So
where'd you even get that? Like,
I got it just from I think it was like JHP USA, just one of those like importer websites where I was peak COVID when I was trying to order it. So like every single person I hit up didn't have it in stock, and I was trying to find one in stock, and I paid like a premium for it. I think it was
wanted like the polished one though.
Yeah, I wanted
Did it cost more?
It only cost more because a lot of people didn't have it in stock, and they had it a little higher price. I think it was like $400 after taxes and shipping and all that stuff. But they had the black one, they had the silver one a bunch of places. But I always thought the silver one was cool. The black one's cool, but the polished one's just the polish is just not as common. You know, so and it matched like the whole thing I was going. I was able to source like a polished hub that makes it kind of look like one big shebang, and I didn't want like a disconnect hub or anything. Just where I'm able to keep my vehicle. Yeah, it was just like nice and kind of just change little things here and there. And you know, I'll scroll Instagram and I'll see a car and zoom in and be like, oh, I like that, and then I'll source it and like try to find it myself versus just being like, yo, where'd you get that? Like, that's always cool. It's always cool to be like, yo, where'd you get that? Or
that's
yo,
when I gatekeep when somebody asks some stupid ass question like that.
I know.
I'll tell you, but I'm like,
because honestly, half the time you can screenshot it, put it in a Google image search, and you get the answer you're looking for. It's like it pops up right then and there, unless it's like custom or very hard to obtain. But most of the time, I'll try to. That's some good advice. Try to figure it out yourself before reaching out for help.
I don't know. Just try to be unique, obviously. Like find something cool, like for you example, and then just kind of do your own twist on it. It's really
and I mean, building this car, it's been step by step. Like it didn't just like shit out this car. You know,
it's like my car, 3 years, and people are like, oh, I'm like,
it's just little by little. Like you focus on one thing at a time. Like I focused on the stance for a good amount of the years that I had these vehicles, and then I really did a bunch of research on every exhaust option. I found an exhaust that I really fell in love with the way it looked.
Tell us about your exhaust.
It's a raised gram light. It's the Dragon 57. It's
Shit's
kind of
insane.
Cringy name, but they only made it for the FD RX-7s. Yeah, it's the raised gram lights Dragon 57 or 57
Honestly,
Dragon or something like that.
It deserves a name like that.
But it's a cool exhaust. It says raised gram lights on it. It's like a stainless steel not titanium, but it's a very light stainless steel, and it's got a slanted turn down, so it's unique cool. For sure. I'm not the biggest fan of the way it sounds. It's a little raspy. You know, it's still Subaru, so it still sounds good, like decent. It's not like a Honda. It's not super crazy. But yeah, so you find little things like that where even though it's rare and it's hard to obtain, you put the cash aside and you do your searching. Like I'll be taking a shit and I'll be like, yo, let me hop on eBay and just type it in, or Buy or whatever, you know. I haven't had much experience buying on Buy and stuff like that, but just even being able to like search, and I've found parts on there that had made me go on to like eBay or made me look local, and then you kind of find the parts that way. So it's like,
cool. Like you can find,
even if you're not buying the parts off that website, you can source parts and learn about them, and you might not get all the knowledge, but you can at least get some pictures and things here and there.
That's what I think is so cool about these like older Japanese cars, is like you can just find stuff that you're like didn't even know existed.
Exactly.
And it's just like factory, or like it just fits, and it's just like works.
I have buddies who have been in this chassis for 20 years and they're still learning stuff on the daily. And I mean, I'm constantly learning things about the car and just things that other people have done, and it's always cool to see like what I've inspired other people to build and other crazy cars and what they've done to achieve what they've done. And
that's so cool.
It's just like, I mean, I feel like everyone's had that little bit of gratitude to see your impact kind of fall onto others, even if you've done it for a year or 4 years or 10 years or 20.
Wait,
You
so
have an impact on everyone.
Your
for sure.
his steering wheel like bolts are diamonds. Where did you get those?
I honestly, so there's a company, I don't know what it is. It was a JDM company that made them, and they made them
actually like a JDM company.
Yeah, and the ones I really wanted, they made them in gems like the way I have them now. I went with the clear ones just so that they look like diamonds or crystals. And I have a pink horn button, so I wasn't trying to like clutter it even more. It just looked the cleanest to me. But the ones I really wanted were pearl. So they were pearl beads inside the bolts, and a company made them. They're just kind of rare and hard to find, and I found them on like there's a Facebook page or group called Top Shelf Rare Parts, and they always post rare, like that's another thing, like hop on a bunch of Facebook groups, like you'll find the coolest stuff on there and so much information. But anyways, I did find them on there, and someone was trying to like trade one of their sets for another set, and they didn't want to sell them. So then I took that picture and I threw it in a Google image, and I found someone on like some random ass website on somewhere, and they made them.
You find the coolest shit like randomly.
Yeah, I mean, you just do it. Like it literally took me 10 minutes to just do that, and I was able to find them.
Those are the ones you have.
Yeah, those are the ones.
Okay.
I don't have the rare ones. I just have the ones I found.
They're
on,
like
Google
clear
or
ones.
whatever.
But
Yeah,
they're,
the clear
yeah,
ones.
I mean,
they have different colors. They have pink, amber, rainbow, like iridescent, smoked, black. I always have to. I'm fighting this constant battle of is it too much? Do I simplify this?
No, but see,
like
that's
the argument with like not the argument, but the topic of the lug nuts. Like, do I do crazy lug nuts or do I back it off and just do chrome lug nuts? So
I feel like that's where people go wrong.
Yeah.
Like you just have to
A lot of people just keep going, and they don't back off a little bit or change things up.
Like just because you can't just throw shit at a car. Like you have to understand taste. I mean, and
then if that's your taste and that's your style,
yeah,
just throw the world at it. And, to each their own. But I'm not building this car for anyone other than myself. And that's a huge
key.
topic.
And that's key. People have to understand that.
Yeah.
And I didn't even. I mean, when I finished my car, I stopped caring about posting it just because it was just like.
I just
sick.
post it because I like to post it, and I'm that person who will sit there and just watch their story over and over again because it makes me smile, and it's cool, and you get a like here and there from the homies, and it just shows that people are watching and they're keeping up with you, and it's not everything though. It's never to get a bunch of views or to somehow potentially make money off of it. I've never even created a TikTok. Like I make reels here and there about the car, and I always spam my stories like crazy, but most of the time it's some stupid experience that I'm going through or some random event, or it's just always some random bullshit.
Oh no, but that's awesome. That's sick. And I started this because I just wanted to like showcase cars like this that you really otherwise wouldn't see. So once again, thank you for coming on.
Anytime.
It was a pleasure, and I hope you guys learned a lot. Check them out on Instagram. All right, we're gonna cut to the driving clip. Thank you guys for watching. Alrighty, so we're gonna do the little driving segment and see how this thing actually drives. I hope the audio works so you guys can actually hear this, but damn. Oh my god, dude. I really hope you guys can hear those turbo noises. Damn.
They should come through.
Damn. Holy. Oh my god, that sounds amazing. I'm a turbo noob. I genuinely don't know anything about turbos, and this might be the first or second time I've ever been in a turbo car, to be honest with you. First stance car with a turbo, 100%. But god damn, this thing's sick.
Sorry for the late break.
Dude, this thing drives so good.
It's not bad.
Wait, so how much camera do you have?
-17 in the front and -14 in the rear.
Look at this shit, bro. Ooh. Holy.
Yeah, I'm getting a little fat. These seats are getting tight.
Damn. Are these 34?
They're 34 or 36, but there's Japanese size. So they're 30 to 32 USDM boys.
Yeah. Like this thing, I just hate how video doesn't do justice to anything. This drives so good.
Now we're aired up.
We're aired up right now?
Yeah.
guys will kind of understand.
I'm not sure exactly why they went this route in Japan. Maybe it was just more accessible, or they have one laying around and it was just an easier swap to do.
Okay.
I mean, the Turbo Forester is the same thing as a Turbo WRX here, so it's not much different. It was one I was a lot more familiar with versus the earlier model EJs.
The more you know.
But
I feel like Subarus have so much like lore. I mean, I'm sure every car has lore like that. But yeah, no, I mean, everything you said went over my head, but it's cool that I had no idea.
I don't even know if I understood what I said.
I really hope you guys can hear this, but it's, yeah, dude, this thing is fucking, drives so good.
It rubs, it hits the quarter panel a little bit more than I'd like it to, but for what it is,
it's not
like how
bad,
capable
though.
it is, it's not horrible.
Like when people are like, oh, how do you drive a car like, I'm like,
I mean, I
look at
couldn't
any other
daily
car.
it. I could definitely agree with that.
Oh, sure.
I would never sign up to daily this. Like, if I were to daily something, it would be on bags.
Yeah.
But the cups is enough to get it done.
Yeah. So he is on air cups, which is not bags. It's like, I don't know, you want to like bring
It's an air piston, basically.
Okay.
So it basically just has relays and actuators that you basically just click a button, it airs up 100%.
And is it not?
That, yeah, when it's red, it's actuated. When I click the button, it will air back down. So it's basically just 100%.
And it's pretty like instant?
It's pretty quick. I mean,
And you can do it while driving?
we're fully aired up now.
Shit. I'm seeing this for the first time too, like,
It's fully,
and the way you
airing
integrate,
out.
like, look how OEM, that's sick.
And that one's like launch, that one's launch control,
Launch
so
control?
it'll hold it at 5K
What the fuck?
until I drop it.
Did you put that in this?
No, the cards came with it, and then this one is like anti-lag, so it's just like a super verbally annoying ass pop, which was a lot cooler when I had a straight piped exhaust, but the raised exhaust it's pretty tame for what it is.
Yeah, it's super.
So like this shit, well, one, I don't want to blow the motor.
Yeah,
And two,
yeah,
it just
yeah.
doesn't sound as poppy and cool. It just honestly sounds really weak and tame, so I don't even put the purple on anymore.
I was gonna be like, can we launch it? But I'm like,
Yeah, honestly, with
There's no
gasket
point.
feeling. Yeah, and it's not. It's a sub 300 horsepower car, so it's not like exciting. It's cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm so used to it. But it's nothing like launching a 500 horsepower or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's still a cool car, and I mean, we can always do another one. I plan to pull the motor and do the head gasket here shortly.
Oh, yeah. So what is this? This is a blitz gauge?
Yeah, it's a bliss boost cage, so I don't even like top dash mounted like gauges and stuff. I just think it kind of looks, I don't know, everyone has an opinion. I think it looks cool for the most part. It's just not exactly what I would want, but there was already a hole. There was a boost gauge there, long story short.
Okay.
And so there was already a hole drilled, so I had to put something there. And I have a triple stack. They didn't make a lot of triple stack because I also have a AFM gauge, or AFR gauge, and a oil pressure gauge or oil temp gauge.
And then what about, because I know some people put them here.
Yeah, I'm not a big, I don't know, I just don't like things. My other car, I had 2 gauges here. I had one here, and then I had one right on the center column.
Okay.
And I really like that, but this cluster glows really cool at night, and I just really like the way this is laid out and the simplicity of it. So I was trying to do something with the radio and put 3 here because I went with a single DIN. My phone's not connected currently, but it's an Apple CarPlay single DIN. And
I love how like simple it is. This drives so like, this is so cool. This is so cool to me. It sounds good. What do you mean it sounds bad?
it's just like raspy. It's like a little raspy for my taste, but it's alright.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, when you're in the car, you don't really hear it because you just hear more of the turbo, but when you're outside the car, it's more raspy.
That's the thing with all these like older JDM cars, like they're just fucking trumpets. They're all, I mean, not
yeah,
a
it's
Z,
more of the
obviously.
exhaust setup. This Ray's Grand Light exhaust a little beat up, but you know, I knew it was gonna beat it up anyways, so I wasn't too worried about it.
I have never been in a Subaru like this. I think Roach is the only other Subaru I've been in. Which is ironic that we're filming, I guess, 2 white stance Subarus back to back, but
yeah,
it is what it is. All right, so I'm gonna pull in so you guys can see this. I mean, his driveway is really not that bad, and plus he's on Cup, so it's like not a big deal. But I always find it entertaining to see, I guess, lower stance cars pull in driveways. So it's just, I think it's fun. Floaty.